Hey you guys, happy Monday. We are here today to talk about nutrition and some food related do's and don'ts. So before we dive into things, for those of you who are new to this community, I just wanted to take a second to introduce myself to you. So my name's Athena Concannon. I am the owner and founder of Achieve with Athena, and I'm a certified personal trainer. I'm a fitness and lifestyle coach, and I really work with women on how to break free from the all or nothing trap, get fit, both physically fit and work on mindset fitness as well, and really step into their most empowered selves. And I use fitness, nutrition, self-care, all as the tools for helping us feel like we are living our best lives and that we are thriving. So that's just a little bit about me. If you are on live right now, go ahead and say hi in the comments so that I know you're here. If you're catching up on the replay, as always, just type in replay so that I know that you caught this training. Okay, so again, today we are going to talk about nutrition, specifically 3 myths that I think need to just die already. Hey, Auntie Paula. So we're talking about 3 myths that a lot of people really get hung up on. These things that I'm going to tell you are topics that I get questions about from clients all the time, from friends and family all the time. I just hear these things even in everyday conversation. And so I've turned them into a few little do's and don'ts to give you guys a little framework and hopefully help simplify things for you, because that is really my goal when I work with my clients, whether in a one-on-one capacity, in my group coaching program, through my do-it-yourself courses. Like, I really just want people to feel like all of this stuff is simple. It doesn't have to be a life overhaul. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be stressful. So let's just make it as simple as we can. Okay, so let's dive in. The first one, and if someone who's on live now or watching the replay could go ahead and type this in for me. The first don't that we're going to talk about is don't demonize foods or food groups. So number 1, don't demonize foods or food groups. And what do I mean by that? A lot of us have grown up or were raised in the diet culture, diet mentality, where there are all these diets or programs out there that really villainize things like carbs. Hey Liz, things like carbs. Thank you for typing that in. Fat. Candace, hey girl. Look at all my little note takers. I love you guys. So let me start over. We don't want to villainize things like carbs, things like fat. Even foods like fruit have been demonized in the past, and they still are. You hear all the time like, oh, don't eat too much fruit. Like, I can't even get started on that. But people say, oh, chocolate is bad for you. Well, no, foods aren't necessarily bad for us. Food has no moral value. It's whether a food is nutritionally aligning with your goals. But let's go back a little bit to the carbs and the fat. These are things that people just will take out of their diets because some diets, meaning what you eat, because someone that invented a diet, meaning let's restrict food, said, now that worked for somebody, so it's going to work for everybody. Okay? Carbs are not the enemy. You guys know I am team carbs, right, Candace? We need carbs in our diets so that we can be provided and with energy. We can replenish energy. We need carbs for workout fuel. We need carbs for our brain power. I could go on and on and on. Okay, we don't want to be walking around feeling sluggish and cranky and hangry and like we can't concentrate and that we just don't have enough energy to get through the day. We don't want to be running on empty. So we really need carbs. We just need them in the right types and the right amounts. That's what people mess up. Okay, people just, it's an all or nothing game. It's either we're going to say no carbs, low carbs, and just get rid of them all, or we're just eating too many of them, okay? So we gotta eat the right types in the right amounts. And FYI, people, vegetables are actually a carb. So if you are saying that you're going on a no or low carb diet, I don't recommend, because we want you to be eating all the veggies. But that's just one example. With demonizing carbs, it's really short-sighted. With fat, here's another one. People fear fat. Fat is not gonna make you fat. What makes us fat is anything in a surplus. I don't care whether it's fat or carbs or too much protein. Anything where you're in this surplus is gonna be what makes you gain weight, not eating a fat-filled food itself. Fat we need in our diets because it's gonna help, similar to protein, it helps keep us fuller for longer. It's gonna raise our good cholesterol, lower the bad cholesterol if we're eating the right types of fats, right? Things like avocado. We're not talking about, like really not nutritionally sound fatty foods here. We're talking about the good fats. You want to add fat to your diet because it adds satisfaction factor to our meals. We talk about all the time in this group. In order to feel like we are empowered eaters, we need to like how we're eating. That doesn't mean we're going to have, just cheese all the time, but we can add some cheese, little crumbled cheese to our salads to up the satisfaction factor. We can add that little avocado at night with our dinner to up the satisfaction factor, whatever that might be. But that's really where, again, demonizing these individual foods or individual food groups just does more harm than good. What ends up happening is if you take yourself through a few days without eating any carbs, without eating fat, you're not getting actually enough, you're going to have all the cravings. You're going to have, your body is going to actually need those things. And that is going to be what causes you to overeat or binge more than you would if you just allowed yourself to have a few in the first place. Candace is saying eat salads that don't suck. Yes. Love my mantra. Salads that don't suck. No one wants to eat sucky salads. You don't want to eat lettuce with tomato on it and a drizzle of lemon. Like, that is it. You need to put some things on there that are going to be satisfying for you, keep you full, and not make you want to run through to the cabinets later. So instead of demonizing the food groups, that's the don't. I want you guys, here's the do, I want you to start paying attention to how different foods make you feel. I want you to eat these balanced meals, not cutting out any food groups. Caveat, if you don't like something, you don't have to eat it. And if you are allergic to it, you don't have to eat it, okay? No one's telling you like, oh, you have to eat one certain thing, okay? But there really should be nothing cut out of your diet unless you don't like it or it makes you feel like crap or you actually have some sort of food allergy or a sensitivity. That's a different topic. But I want you to start to pay attention to how different things make you feel. When you incorporate carbs in your lunch, for example, are you going to stay more full than if you didn't? For me personally, if I incorporate a carb in my lunch, and I'm talking like a half a cup of quinoa, cooked quinoa, some sweet potatoes. Today on my lunch, I included some fruit, that kind of stuff. I'm gonna be much more satisfied for the afternoon and not feel like I need that afternoon snack. Or maybe you do a little better with that higher fat. Everyone's like a little bit different in terms of their ratio. Everyone has a unique metabolic makeup that is going to determine this, and that's why there's no one size fits all solution. This is something that I help my clients with, is figure out what works for them in terms of what types of meals and in what balance is going to keep their hunger at bay, their cravings in check, and their energy at a really nice balance throughout the day where you feel focused and energized rather than, maybe like you're hitting that afternoon slump or hitting a wall. Okay, so again, you're just paying attention to the cravings, your energy, and you're not eliminating things for the sake of it. So that is number one. Any questions about that, you guys, feel free to put it in the comments and I'll come back and address. Number two, if you guys want to write this one down as well, here's the second don't. I don't want you relying on willpower. So number 2, don't rely on willpower. And this one might ruffle some feathers a little bit, but it's going to give you guys a little bit of tough love, because a lot of people blame willpower for their nutritional challenges. I mean, I'm sure we can all relate to a time where we've said, oh, I'm doing so well, my eating is on point, and then I got off track. And so I am going to just vow next time I just need to have more willpower. Maybe you guys have said that in the past. Raise your hands, or I know we're not on a webinar, but like the like button, or type in the comments if you guys can relate to that, or if you've thought that in the past. Like, next time I just need to have more willpower, or I need to resist temptation. Yeah, Candace is saying willpower is fickle. It totally is. You're never going to be somebody that just has all the will. It's kind of like motivation, right? It's not this infinite resource. Or maybe another thing that you've said or thought before is, well, like I was doing so well, and then at work, someone brought in donuts and they were there, and I just have no willpower around donuts, and I ate them all. Or something like that. Like, you know, we're laughing about it here, but this is a very real struggle for a lot of people. Absolutely. Or another version of the I have no willpower around donuts at work could equate to I have no willpower around the bag of chips if it's in the house. We just think that willpower is the problem. And here's the tough love. Having no willpower is actually an excuse. Like, there's just no other way to put it, because this is something that also keeps us in a dieting mentality. It's just like demonizing food groups and putting things into that good versus bad food categorizing, when really food, again, has no moral value. And what does willpower have to do with this is that when we think like, oh, I just don't have enough willpower, it is making us feel like we're doing something wrong if we like go against it. So, you know, if you are someone who maybe sees others eating something that you feel is off limits or that you shouldn't have, and you're like, oh, I can't. Again, you're trying to rely on that willpower solely based on this arbitrary feeling that you can't or that you shouldn't have it, because you are giving moral value to food. And in reality, here's what you should be doing instead of focusing so much on blaming willpower. You should be A, looking at food as neutral, but B, implementing mindfulness strategies that actually work and figuring out, it's kind of just like figuring out what works for you in terms of your carb and fat balance to get that hunger, energy, and craving level in check. It's figuring out what mindfulness strategies actually work for you. This is another thing that I do with my one-on-one clients. We go through my empowered eating method. This is an actual framework with tangible strategies that I teach to my clients so that they can actually approach, say, the donuts in the break room, not from a perspective of, oh, I need to white knuckle through this situation and I need to rely on fickle willpower, but they can approach those donuts in the weight room. Oh my God, that would be amazing. I've seen that sometimes actually. In the break room, donuts in the break room, with a more in control approach, because you're always in control. You are the one that chooses whether you are putting food into your mouth. It's not, the food's fault. And we always say like, that food has so much power over me. Well, no, you don't have any power over your own mindful eating strategies yet. But you want to be able to approach that food and in a way that is not so much fearing it, but asking yourself if you're actually hungry, if that's actually something that you want in the moment, how it's going to make you feel after you eat it, not only physically, but mentally. If you only want it because it's there, or if you actually wanted a donut before you went into the break room. Like, these are all just examples, and this is another scenario. Everyone's a little bit different on what works for them. I have a recent client who I've been working with who has actually had a lot of success using the phrase, is this what the best version of myself would want? Or does this align with what my higher self would want? Because sometimes in the moment we're like, yeah, how's this gonna make me feel? It's gonna make me feel good to eat this. But that's gonna last for like 2 seconds, if that. Not even to the end of the donut. It never actually solves the reason that we sometimes want it. And it's okay to have it and just want to have it. We don't need to have like an emotional reason for eating all the time. But the key is that you don't want to have that cause you guilt, cause you to feel bad about yourself after, and you just don't want to feel disempowered by your choice. If I'm eating a donut, I want to freaking enjoy it. Like I did yesterday when I got an apple cider donut and I ate it and it was amazing and I moved on, and oh look, I didn't blow up today. So that's the difference there with an empowered eating method. Okay, so that is number 2. You are not relying on willpower. Instead, you're looking at food as neutral and implementing mindfulness strategies. Number 3, so someone can go ahead and type this one in as well. Don't skimp on your meals. And I'll say that again. Number 3 is don't skimp on your meals and stop eating like a bird. This one's huge. I see this all the time as well. People aren't eating enough. And with this, this is something I definitely used to do. Let me give you guys the example of when I was working in my 9-to-5 job. I would pack like all my food from the night before, and I would have like a little teeny breakfast, like a little 100-calorie yogurt or something like that. And then I would be hungry in probably about 90 minutes, 2 hours. Your meals should be keeping you full for 2 to 3 hours minimum, preferably 3 to 4, maybe 5, maybe longer. But if you're really hungry all the time throughout the day, and you're like, why am I just hungry all the time? Why am I feeling like I need to snack all the time? My cravings are up the wazoo. I want you guys looking at the size of your meals. Are you eating like a bird? You know, back in the day, I wouldn't dream of eating the meals that I eat now. And I'm gonna laugh about this because I share a lot of my day-to-day food over on Instagram. Instagram stories is the best way that you can kind of see what I'm eating on a daily basis. So if you're not following me over there, you can at Athena Concannon. But sometimes I'll post my meals and I'll get comments from people, or some of you who are like, oh my God, that is such a big bowl or such a big plate. And it's true, and I kind of have no shame in it. Like, I eat huge meals, and back in the day, I would have thought, oh my God, this is going to be too many calories, or this has too much fat in it, going back to number 1, where we demonize foods, or if I eat this much, I'm going to gain weight. And that actually would cause me to then have to rely on willpower to kind of get through the day, because I'm like hungry, but I shouldn't be eating. So you see where all these kind of now are intertwined, and one really starts to play off of the other. Yeah. Hey, Liz. Yeah, same. I eat so much now. Yeah, and it's kind of empowering, right? Like, we always think we have to eat less. Candace is saying me too. And some of us really actually need to eat more. And so I'm not saying to eat more of, you know, the foods that don't align with your nutrition goals, but here's where you can look, okay, where can I add some more carbs? Where can I add some more protein, some more fat, some more veggie volume, whatever you need? You know, that's a conversation for you and I to talk out if we end up working together. But that is something where you can look at your meals and say, okay, what can I add here that's going to keep me fuller for more than 2 hours at a time? And when you do this, so that's what you need to do, is start eating maybe more balanced meals and larger meals that keep you full for a longer time, and they keep your cravings at bay. When you do this, then you're not gonna be hungry for all the things all day long. And if you are somebody who really struggles with that, yeah, the 1,200 calorie a day diet, like, Where's that emoji that goes like this? That's what I would use right here. If you're somebody that really struggles with feeling like you just can't stop eating all the things, this is huge, is going to be huge for you. Okay? And if your goal is fat loss, I don't want you to fear that that won't happen. We do want to make sure that, like, you do need to have a calorie deficit in order for fat loss to happen. But if you're eating bigger meals, that doesn't necessarily put you into a calorie surplus, especially if it's going to make you eat less overall, kind of over the course of the day, if you're no longer snacking and picking and nighttime eating and binging. Like, you really only need a few small changes to get into that calorie deficit. And you don't want your calorie deficit to be so big in that 1,200 calorie a day gap anyways, because that is not really going to be so friendly hormonally for you. Okay, so again, number 3, don't skimp on your meals. Make sure you're getting a balanced amount of your macros and that you're eating to satisfy and to keep you full for a long time. Okay, so any questions on these, you guys? I'll do a quick recap for anyone who jumped on. Number 1, don't demonize any individual foods or individual food groups. Instead, do pay attention to how different items make you feel hunger, energy, cravings wise. Number 2, don't rely on willpower. It is fickle, it is fleeting. That's an excuse. And the thing you need to do instead is work on your mindset around foods falling into good or bad mentality and implementing actual mindfulness strategies at work. Number 3, don't skimp on your meals. Eating less is not always the answer. It's not going to help you hormonally, and do instead load up on the right types of food in a balanced way. So those are just 3 do's and don'ts that I came up with for today. I'm sure I could come up with a ton more. But as you guys can see, these are a lot of mindset shifts, aren't they? Go ahead and type in the comments if you guys can see where a lot of this has to do with our mindset and like what we've been told for years, like a bang in my head. That's how I feel sometimes, because we've been told all these things for years, and anybody can follow a diet that is given to them for a short amount of time, sure, but it's not sustainable. It's not going to get you change for the long haul. What actually needs to change is the mindset stuff, how you look at some of the beliefs that you've been carrying around for years. Yes, I'm loving this enthusiasm, ladies. Got exclamation points, capitals. Diet culture, lies they tell. Yes, they're full of lies. And so people like Candace and I are here to set the record straight. But these are all more shifts that have to do with our views, our perceptions, our beliefs, and kind of breaking down that damn diet culture. If any of this is resonating with you, and if you really see how working on this stuff, excuse me, can really help you guys, I want to encourage you to join my free webinar, which is happening tomorrow night. It is the second webinar in the Fitness Beyond Fat Loss series that I'm doing this month, and tomorrow's is brand new. Last week, I know I did a repeat webinar that was popular when I did it last March, and this one I've created as brand new. So it is all new stuff. It's 5 beliefs that you're buying into that are holding you back with your fitness and nutrition efforts. We're not going to talk about any of this stuff since we covered it today. I'm sure it'll come up in some way, but it's 5 additional mindset beliefs that really could be related to stories that you've been telling yourself for years and things that maybe you never really thought of before that are holding you back. So I would love for you guys to join me. I'm hosting this at 7:45 Eastern PM tomorrow night, because that's when you guys requested that I do more of the live training stuff, and that you would have more time to sit and watch when you're not at work and when you're not, getting the kids to bed at around 7 or whatever it is. So please go ahead, sign up. I'll put the link in the comments. If you can't attend at 7:45 p.m., please sign up anyways. The replay will go out to you. And I also want to emphasize that I will be offering some bonuses at the end. My webinars, I do love to give away some freebies as a thank you for those who attend and are on with me live. Last week on the webinar, I gave away free 90-minute jumpstart sessions with me, as well as my entire Legit Fit bundle. Tomorrow I have a little bit different to offer, but you know, these are quick and fast acting, and I don't want you to miss out. So not only am I going to be giving away some great content and having more of this kind of mindset talk, but I'm also going to be giving away some more freebies at the end of the webinar. Some juicy stuff, you guys. So any other questions on this? If you have any comments, how things have resonated with you, go ahead, type them in. If you have questions about the webinar, type it in, and I hope to see you guys over in the Zoom room tomorrow night, where we can continue this talk about the beliefs that hold us back. Thank you guys for being on today, and for those of you watching the replay later, thank you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.